Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I've got quite a few new products to play with. I've got new makeup products, I've got new tools to play with. So I'm gonna skip any kind of a long intro and we're just gonna jump right in. So first things first, I use the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. This is not a new product to me, but since I had to buy a new one this morning, I figured I would go ahead and count this as a new product. Now I've been using the Fast Response Eye Cream for years, like probably about 15 years or so. I like the texture, I like the consistency, I like how it really does kind of sink into the skin. It doesn't just sit there on top. It doesn't mess with makeup, it doesn't mess with concealers or setting powders or any of that kind of stuff. I really like this one a lot. It's got caffeine for depuffing, which for me, I would rather an eye cream kind of plump and puff out the skin a little bit. I have to get eye filler to fill in the areas where my face is already depuffed. So I don't know that caffeine in an eye cream really is beneficial to me, but overall I just really like this one. Now the first product that actually is brand new to me is this No Problem Prime Essence from Touch in Sol. And this is basically a foundation priming essence that is supposed to fill in and smooth out your pores. I've used this a few times and it basically doesn't seem to do anything for good or for bad. So it doesn't break down my foundation. It doesn't add another layer of gross to my skin that's just gonna, look thick and cakey and make my foundation look gross. None of that, so that doesn't happen. But then it also doesn't smooth out my pores anymore. It doesn't fill them in. It doesn't make them any tighter. They're still just as noticeable. It doesn't really do anything. And I am gonna use it today just because it's a new product. I figure I might as well go ahead and try it out on camera for you guys. And it's really liquidy, it's really runny. It's kind of the consistency of a runny nose. So it kind of just comes right out. Like you don't really have to squeeze it in order for it to come out. It really is. It's like snot. It's like really runny snot. So I'm just gonna press that onto my nose, onto the sides of my nose, again, where I have really enlarged pores, a little bit onto the forehead, down onto my chin. And I really just kind of press it into those areas. Now that really was like 3 drops that I think I used. Again, it's really thin, so it's not adding any texture to my skin. But again, at the same time, I don't really feel like it does much of anything for its intended purpose. Now, since I didn't pay for it, I'm not out any money, but at the same time, if I had paid for this product, I probably would have returned it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry down on my face for just a minute, and then we can get started on foundation. All right, so that is set down on my skin and it really just kind of dries down the way that any other serum would. So it doesn't feel tacky. It doesn't have like a silicone feel to it at all. It's just, a little bit moisturized and really soft. So there's that. So what I have noticed with this primer is that it works better with a liquid foundation. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. Now the other day I did try to use it with the Bare Minerals powder and I only used 2 or 3 drops and I just kind of pressed it in the way that I did today. And what I found was when I was buffing the foundation onto my face with a brush the way that I normally would, everywhere where that primer was sitting on my face, it was almost like the brush and the foundation was buffing away the primer and it was making everything look really patchy. So once I had everything in place, I then had to go back in with a brush and stipple in, and then I kind of ended up with too much foundation in those areas and I just felt like it looked cakey all day long, and I never find that this foundation looks cakey on me. It really does look really nice on my skin and it just didn't look nice that day. So if you're gonna use this primer, you really need to bounce your foundation on with a beauty sponge and use a liquid foundation. Maybe even a cream foundation would work, but it definitely doesn't work buffing a powder foundation over top of it. So there's that too. You're very limited in what you can use with that primer. So that said, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation in the shade 112 Natural Ivory. And I'm gonna be applying that foundation today with a new sponge that I received. So let me look at the packaging so I can tell you what this is. This is the AOA Studio Paw Paw Edition Wonder Blender, and this is the super soft one. This is available on the Shop Miss A website, which I've never shopped on before, but one of my friends on Instagram, Makeup by Cats, if you guys haven't heard of her, if you're not following her, I will link her page down below. Go check her out. She does the most amazing makeup looks. She's this young kid who does really, really amazing work, so definitely follow her, check her out. I will link her down below. But she was nice enough to send me out some products. She has her own makeup company that she started, which I'll get to in a little bit here. But with the package she sent, she also sent me out one of these sponges because she knows that, and you guys probably know this too, I have been in a monogamous relationship with the original Beauty Blender for about 4 years now. I thought I had tried every other beauty sponge on the market, and I've spent so much money on beauty sponges over the years trying to find something that's a dupe to this one, and they're all fucking garbage. I'm sorry. I've been recommended so many sponges by so many people. I've shelled out so much money on these things, and they're all fucking shit. So the original Beauty Blender is where it's always been for me. So when this one was sent and I looked at the price on it, now this is only $1.55 for this sponge. I was really skeptical. In fact, I didn't use it for a few days. I just kind of kept looking at it in the package, and it felt really soft and it felt really squeezy through the package, but I was still like, I'm gonna give this a few days. I just got this yellow Beauty Blender. I wanna play with this a few more times because I love the Beauty Blender. And so I finally pulled this out of the package and I finally used it. Holy fucking shit. So here's the original Beauty Blender, and we can see, you know, how squeezy that is and how squishy, how soft. And then we've got this one. You're not really going to be able to tell on camera the difference because they really do look and they really do feel very similar to each other. So this one is just as soft as this one, but this one is actually softer than this one. I've used this one every day actually since I started using it. This is amazing. It's $1.55 and it's like the exact same thing as a Beauty Blender, only softer. Now, I was told that not all of these sponges are this soft, that they really are the ones that say, this one says super soft down here in the corner, and I guess these are the ones that are this soft. This is like putting your foundation on with a fucking cloud. Like it's absolutely amazing. I'm placing an order for a bunch of these. And does anybody else shop on Shop Miss A? Have you bought any of their other products? Because I do have 20 of these in my cart right now. So what are your favorite products from Shop Miss A? I think I might have actually asked that in a video a year ago and then just kind of wrote some things down and never actually bought from this brand or from that website. So once again, I'm asking Shop Miss A, the AOA Studio line, anything that they sell on that website, are there any other favorites that you guys have? Because this sponge, like, I love the Beauty Blender and they have so many colors and I love the yellow one and I'm brand loyal, so I will keep buying from Beauty Blender. But this $1.55 and it's fucking perfect. It's so soft. It's so squishy. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my foundation, contour, eyebrows, all of that kind of stuff off camera to save us some time. If you guys have seen any of my full face tutorials, nothing's changed. I'll link some videos down below and I'll be right back and we'll get into some of these other new products. So my face is on and I have one eye done already because I have some new products that I hadn't used yet and I didn't want to just sit down, throw shit on camera and not really like the look. I ended up using some colors that I normally don't use together on my eyes and I really like the way that it turned out. Also, while I was doing my face, I used a bronzer that I recently bought. This is the Urban Decay Beach Bronzer in the shade Sunkissed, but this has almost a pink tone to it, which is really flattering to my skin. So I've really been liking that one a lot. So as far as the eyes go, I've got a few new things to play with. So first off, I've got this colored Raine Berry Cute palette, which I actually picked up at my local Target. And they maybe had some lip glosses and lipsticks and a few other products. But you know me, I was really interested in eyeshadow palettes. So this one caught my eye. This is the one that I picked up. And not only did I want to play around with this palette, but I wanted to incorporate it with some other stuff that I've recently got. So I'll just go ahead and walk you through what I did on this eye and recreate it on the other side. So let me just get this eye primed really quick with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in the shade Eden. And I think that I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. There's still so much left in it, but I've had it for so long that there's no way that I should be putting this on my eyes anymore, and I use it every single day. I really do need to pick up a new primer, so I was thinking that since I want to try out the white P. Louise base, that I might go ahead and just pick up the white, one that's more of like my skin tone color, because they do come in those shades as well. And they also have a black one that I'm really interested in. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and order those and have some new eyeshadow primers to play with. And now I'm going to go ahead and lay down some powder to catch any eyeshadow fallout. It's funny because I actually took the lid off of this powder and I just have a dry beauty blender shoved down inside of it. So it's kind of like having a lid on top, but not really. And then when you pull off your lid, you've already got your powder ready to go. So go ahead and pop that powder under there. So I feel like when I use a new eyeshadow palette on my channel and it's like a first impression kind of deal, since I'm the kind of person that goes in and I go in with no plan ever. I just slap shit on and hope for the best, you know? But I feel like when I do that on camera with a new palette and I haven't ever really worked with that formula or tried it out yet, and then I just end up not being a huge fan of the look that I create. So I wanted to go ahead and do one eye off camera first, which I never do. I usually just do the whole damn thing on camera. And no, I really like what I ended up creating here because it's colorful, it's smoky, and it's colorful, but not over the top colorful, which is probably why I really like it. I'm going to take the Morphe M433, which is a good dupe for the old MAC 217, and I'm dipping into the shade Purple Berry. And this was a really interesting one because the way that this looks in the pan, it looks almost like a grayish purple, and it is a cool tone purple on the eye, but it like almost has a little bit of a pink undertone to it as well. So I was actually really shocked by this color when I put this on because it just kind of wasn't really what I was expecting, for the better. Now the formula of the matte shadows in this palette is pretty much spot on to the shadows in the Safari Raine palette because they do build up really easily. Now I do feel with both palettes that it almost takes a little bit of extra work to really blend things out super smooth. I wouldn't say that they're patchy, but I would say that they take a little bit of finessing to really get them to be even and to be really, really smooth. But that's fine. I don't mind taking a few extra minutes to really blend something out to make something look seamless. That's fine. I do have a zit that I popped right there, so there probably will be a little bit of a skip or some patchiness right there. It probably will grab a little bit of that shadow. I think if I had to compare the shadow formula of Colored Raine to any of the other shadows I've tried, I would probably compare them to the Anastasia formula, where they go on great, they're really pigmented, you can really blend them out very nicely, but they do take just a little bit of extra time and they do take a little bit of extra finessing to really pack them on opaque and to blend them out really smoothly. I think it takes just a few extra minutes. See, like right there, I've got like a little bit more concentration of color right there on that little spot. So you could call that patchiness, but then you really just want to kind of like get in there next to that and gently tap on some more shadow and kind of blend it out from there, and then everything's fine. But yeah, when I was doing the other eye and I just had this color on by itself, I'm like, oh fuck, what are you doing? Just the overall color of it, because this is just, I'm just not usually a cool toned eyeshadow kind of person, but again, the way that it all comes together, it really worked out. So And then on a Morphe M507, I dipped into the shade Loveberry. And this is gonna be a new favorite. This is kind of like all those other shades that I like that are just like this. A very deep, dark, kind of burgundy berry color. Something that's a little bit more kind of, I don't know, blackened and smoky. It's not quite as dark and smoky as something like Vanity by Jeffree Star or Shadowy Lady by MAC. But I think that this is a shadow that I can put right alongside those and really help to blend those colors out. And I feel like I'm going to get quite a bit of use out of this shade in particular. And I am going to be doing some depotting videos coming up here pretty soon. I want to depot this palette along with the other colored Raine palette that I have, the Safari Raine palette. I also am going to depot my Jeffree Star palettes. So the Beauty Killer, the Androgyny, and the Blood Sugar palette are all gonna get depotted. And then on a Morphe E36 pencil brush, dipping into that same shade. I think it was the Queen of Hearts palette that first put them on my radar. And I still have never bought that one. Honestly though, the Safari Raine palette, that color story is just, it's right up my alley. It's so good. So I picked this one up and I'm really curious to try some of their other palettes, so we'll see. And then on a Morphe M421, I am taking the shade Platinum Berry. And this one is almost gonna serve as like a transition from the dark purple into the shade that I'm putting more on the inner portion of the lid. And this shade is really like a traditional gunmetal shade. It might have a little bit more of a purpley kind of shimmer to it, but I would go ahead and call this one a gunmetal. So Makeup by Cats that I mentioned earlier, who sent me this awesome sponge, she actually created her own makeup line. It's called About Face Beauty & Co. And everything is like military inspired, especially like shade names are very military inspired. So I've got a couple eyeshadows from this line. The green one is called Boots on the Ground. I've got a kind of gold bronzy one called FMJ, which I should have done some research to find out what that means. I have no idea. And then this one here that I used is called All Hands on Deck. And what I did on this side is I actually took my finger and pressed it in there first, swirled it around. I'll kind of get in there a little bit closer so you can see. And that's what that shade looks like. So I just kind of pressed it on dry to start with, kind of more on that inner part of the lid. Pressed it and then kind of brought it over top of that gunmetal shade and kind of blended the two together in the center there. And then I'm going to take that brush, dip into that shade on my brush, tap off the excess, and then just kind of pat that closer to the inner corner and kind of up into the crease on the inner part of my eye a little bit. And then what I did, just to see if I could get a little bit more pop with a glitter primer, I'm just taking that same brush, dipping into the NYX glitter primer, and then I just kind of press that primer right on top of that shadow that I already have laid down. And then on my finger again, pressing that onto that sticky base, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more of that reflective quality. And I'm all over the place today, so I've got another brand and another palette. I picked up the BH Cosmetics Duo Light Highlight 9-color palette at Ulta. This thing is pretty fucking rad. So this has 6 pans, but the 3 bottom pans are split. But there's orange shifting green, gold shifting green, pinks that shift green. It's almost like everything shifts a little bit green, whether it's orange, pink, blue. There is the shade Top Secret here that really is just like a shimmery white. And a lot of them kind of blend out to be very similar colors. I would say realistically, this probably could have been a 4-pan palette, but I figured since I had this almost like teal, cool tone blue thing going on here, that I would go down here into the shade Double Take. And this one almost has that teal, but it shifts a little bit pink as well. And I figured that would be a really cool shade for an inner corner highlight. So I'm taking a Morphe M431, which is another pencil brush, and I am just going to lay down some of that NYX glitter primer on the inner corner, and then going into double take on that same brush. Now I did experiment and kind of throw a few different shades into the mix on the other eye, just because I felt like it was missing something here or there, and I don't know. So just for the sake of things matching up from side to side, I am gonna go in and use the same shades that I did over here. But I think that I really could have left it right here and been totally happy with where it ended up. But just to kind of blend into the warmth of that plummy color underneath there, I did go into the shade Pinkleberry, which is like a pinky gold kind of shimmery tone. And then I did go right here in the middle between that inner corner highlight and this deeper matte plum. And I wasn't sure really how I felt about that. And then just kind of blurring that edge with a little bit more of Loveberry. And then just to add a tiny bit of warmth, I went in with the Morphe M507 and picked up this shade Kissberry, which is kind of like this muted orange kind of color, and really just kind of blended out the bottom edge here, and more just on the inside. I didn't sweep that all the way out to the edge here. I really just kind of kept that more on the inner half of the eye, and then barely just a little bit of that shade right underneath the head of the eyebrow. And now I have two of the colored Raine palettes, and I'm a huge fan of both of them. I really want to go back and get the other ones they have at Target, if they still have them there. And of course, I'll depot all of them. I can put them all in one palette, and then we'll have a bunch of colored Raine to play with, So for the waterline, I am still using this Rockstar liner by Urban Decay. Look how fucking tiny this thing is. So, there we go. I'm pretty sure I've sharpened this as many times as I can. I think that the last time I stuck this in the pencil sharpener, I could barely pull this back out. So I really should buy another one of these because I love this color, and it really is like the exact same color as this dark purpley color that I have on the outside edge here. So Rockstar on the waterline. I'm gonna go ahead and get my lashes curled, get some mascara on. I don't have anything new to show you guys in that department. And then we will come back and highlight with this BH highlighter palette. Okay, we have lashes, we have lips. Let's go ahead and put on some highlighter. Usually highlighter is not the last step of my routine, but we're switching it up today, I guess. I think I'm gonna use the shade Top Notch, which is the second one in on the top here. And this one looks almost like a cotton candy pink, but has like this aqua green shift to it. So let's see what that one looks like. I think that's gonna be a really cool highlighter color. I love a weird highlighter color, and I really like the formula of this palette. But this is actually my first time using this shade out of this palette, and I fucking love it. I think it's sweet. And sweep a little bit of that up onto the forehead. Go ahead and hit the tip of my nose so we can have a beacon of light right in the center of my face. That is really bright and really reflective. That's obnoxious as fuck, but I love it. Then I'm gonna get even more obnoxious right there on the cheekbone. Don't forget this guy over here. And you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of that same shade and just hit right underneath the eyebrow. I hate it when YouTubers say that they're gonna highlight underneath their brow bone, because this is the brow bone. If you highlight underneath your brow bone, you're highlighting on your crease. So remember that. You're actually highlighting the brow bone itself. Okay, so now that I look like a complete and total alien clown, I'm gonna call that a wrap. I think it looks pretty rad. I hope that you guys like it too. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Any interaction, thumbs up, commenting in the comment section down below. All of that stuff really lets YouTube know that people are interacting and liking my videos, and they're more likely to share it with other people to help grow my audience. So again, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. It's right there, right underneath my face. Just click it. If you didn't like it, and if you're one of the few people that gives me a thumbs down on my videos, thanks for the view, bitch.